Live from Thornbury Creek at Oneida, this is Locker Room with Local 5 Sports Director Bert Griffin. Now your host, Bert Griffin.
The Packers are back in the playoffs once again, but Green Bay will have to be road warriors from here on out. And the journey to New Orleans begins with a trip to Philadelphia, with a date against the Eagles almost exactly how the season started back in September. Get ready for another edition of Locker Room. Good evening and welcome to the show. We are live here at Thornbury Creek Golf Course. Obviously, no golf today since it's January. Happy New Year, everybody. The Packers' journey in the playoffs will begin in the city of brotherly love, where they will take on the Eagles once again, a team that they started the season with. We'll talk more about that with Packers defensive back Robert Rochelle in just a moment. But first, let's hear it from my co-host tonight, former Packer defensive back and Super Bowl champion, Jared Bush. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, Bert?
I know it's cliche. Matt LaFleur said it. Every head coach has said it. It is a new season, and it is one and done.
For sure. One and done. You made the tournament. Now what are you going to do with it?
Yep.
Your destiny's in front of you. You have every chance. Everybody's healthy. J. Love's healthy. You got the offense. You got the defense ramped up. And I'm excited. I'm pumped up.
Look, some tough news. Not everybody's healthy. Christian Watson done for the season with that ACL. However, you guys were banged up in 2010, and you were the number 6 seed. And oh, by the way, went on the road and beat Philadelphia. Went on the road and beat Atlanta. Then beat up on the Bears at Soldier Field en route to a Super Bowl victory. This team is close. They haven't gotten it done against the better teams, and they will find out just how good they are come Sunday.
Yeah, and you said it, Berg. I think just making the tournament, making sure that you have all the pieces in line, and then find that extra motivation. What is it that they're really playing for? You know, you're following the footsteps of what a 2010 Super Bowl team did. What did that look like? Understanding that there were a ton of players on IR. It's next man up mentality. At the same time, that performance, that level does not drop. If anything, you got to keep skyrocketing, up and to the right. Now, are there going to be some speed bumps along the way? For sure. Heck yeah, Bert. But at the same time, you got to stay steadfast, maintain the integrity, make sure everybody's ready to go. And most importantly, remember why you're playing the game.
Right.
And as far as like the team and the head coach, I think have a great game plan for the players. Play fast, play hard.
Look, heading into Sunday, Matt LaFleur had never lost to Chicago. Like, that in itself is amazing going into his 6th season as the Packers head coach. When you look at the bigger picture, though, should there be cause for concern? They lost 2 games in the division. They were 1-5 in the NFC North. Chicago wanted it, whether it's the punt return fake and down the sideline the other way. They did a reverse pass with Keenan Allen that Xavier McKinney would eventually pick off.
Yeah.
They looked like a desperate team that really wanted it. And look, it didn't really matter. Washington won anyway, and Green Bay was going to be stuck at number 7 anyway.
Yeah, you know what? Funny story. I think they ran that same play when I was playing, Burke, which is kind of crazy, and they scored. Crazy.
Yeah.
I think they pulled that one out of their hat.
Yep.
Every so often, just because they're the Bears, knowing that they are inferior, they got lucky on that one.
Yeah.
And so we got to give them that. But at the same time, we understand that we took J. Love out of the game, we took Josh Jacobs out of the game, and we sort of we still hung around, and they kind of conceded the game a little bit, unfortunately, because at the end of the day, it did have some type of significance, but it did not mean the season.
And look, I think everybody went, oh boy, like when all of a sudden Watson goes out, and you knew that was going to be bad. You could just tell the reaction on his face as he's getting carted off.
Yeah.
Jordan Love goes down. They're like, you know what, Josh got him a touchdown. Let's just see how this thing plays out.
Yeah.
Second half, scoreless in the third quarter. Were you surprised at the clock management at the end of the game? And is that going to be an issue moving forward? Because good teams don't make those mistakes. Matt LaFleur owned it.
Right.
But that can't happen in the postseason.
It can't. And hopefully you're at your sharpest game, especially when the playoff season, because that's when you're supposed to play your best football. Understand that all is fair and well in December up until this point. Now everything is magnified.
Right.
Mistakes as well as the triumphs.
Yep.
And so you have a great chance to make a good name, keep the tradition that the Packers have kept all along, and solidify your legacy if you're Matt LaFleur. So what are you going to do with this?
Right. And, well, look, beside a couple of bad seasons at the end of the Mike McCarthy era and that one Mike Sherman season in 2005 where they were like 4-12.
Right.
Packer fans have been pretty spoiled in a good way. You know what time it is?
What time is it, Bert?
Time now for our pivotal performance powered by local IBEW 158. For the third time this season, Brandon McManus put the Packers in position to win the game with a clutch kick. 55 yards in January at Lambeau Field. The dude is money. Brandon McManus with our pivotal performance powered by local IBEW 158. Now, he's an aging veteran. He was brought in for a reason, and he delivered.
He delivered. And as I see some of the receivers and running backs, they do.
Right.
That man right there has been clutch ever since he stepped on Lambeau Field.
All right, we're going to talk some playoff football with our guest tonight. Packers defensive back Robert Rochelle is in the house. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Locker Room. That is a Super Bowl ring from 2010. Obviously, that's the Green Bay Packers. And one of just 3 players on the Green Bay roster right now, Robert Rochelle. Give it up for him. He has one of those rings from the L.A. Rams. Congratulations, buddy.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you doing the show. We've got playoff stuff to talk about, but I told Jarrett when I called you and I talked to you in the locker room, I'm like, it'd be cool if you brought both of them. And I'm just going to say, size does matter.
It does matter. That's pretty right there.
That Rams one. I mean, Sean McVay, they didn't spare any expenses with that thing.
No, whatsoever.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Go ahead.
Yeah. Talk about that experience. I mean, how was that?
Oh, man, it was probably the prime of my career. I feel like I had fun, great teammates, great guys, great organization. We had great moments. Like you said, it's a great season, and you have to keep rising up, and we peaked as a team. And times we needed to, we played as a team and came out victorious of what we was trying to achieve that year. So.
Not a bad way to start your NFL career, huh?
Not at all. Yeah. Not at all.
Look, 2 years with LA, then you've been here. This is now your second year, 4th in the league. Just compare and contrast. I mean, you got LA, and now you have Green Bay, and they couldn't be more different, right?
Right. Obviously, locations.
Yeah.
LA, great place, everything. Green Bay, weather, different atmosphere, great fan base. LA was kind of just moving to LA when I was there, so they didn't have a big following and fan base, so it was kind of different just starting out there. But coming here, been welcoming with the fans, and just the coaching and the organization over here is just all in tune, and everyone's connected here, so it feels like family everywhere you go. So It's definitely different here for sure.
Talk about the dynamics, or as well as maybe the culture from that Super Bowl team that you try maybe to implement the same thing, or maybe some of the dynamics of whether logistics of the coaches or maybe the teammates, the camaraderie that you want to kind of shed some wisdom to the players here in Green Bay.
It's more along the lines of being peer-led, more guys being on guys and guys being together and spending time with each other and bonding over things outside of football and just building that camaraderie that you would need in the game that you don't really think about all the time. So things like that, we just spent a lot of time together in LA. We did a lot of activities, we did a lot of those things, and I'm trying to bring it here. We do a lot of things here. We watch games, we go do things, go eat, hang out, So that's probably the biggest thing that I've tried to bring with me, because you need that camaraderie.
Yeah, and obviously Matt LaFleur and Sean McVay know each other. They've worked together. There's a lot of young coaches that are in the league. Do you see similarities? Like when you walked in, are you like, oh, that's exactly what McVay used to do with the Rams when you were there?
Yeah, those guys are very similar offensive coaches, love the game of football, and great coaches that lead their players, so love both of those guys.
Was there any similarity in schematics as far as the defense as well as the offense?
Definitely the offense. They run kind of the same offensive scheme. Defense kind of different, but just along the lines of just holistically, they kind of the same guys. Yeah, open to anything, friendly with the players, let you have your say so and ask how you feel about things. So good coaches.
Now imagine training camp is similar.
Oh no. Training camp definitely is different. I feel like here more in Green Bay it was more just work. We going. LA we going too, but we had more time to like build and just talk about things or be more meeting time. So it was kind of different, just on different ends of the spectrum type situation.
Well, and everybody knows, look, the NFL season is a marathon. It
Right.
can't be a sprint. And whether it's Jair Alexander, different players get hurt along the way. You've got a deep and talented secondary. This guy right here cut his teeth and had almost a decade in the NFL by playing special teams first, but then when he got out there, he made the most of his opportunities. Do you feel like you're just kind of in that same boat right now? If you get a chance to shine, you're going to. It's just a matter of if, but not when.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I'm in that same type of spot. The league is be ready when your name called type of league, so it's just always staying ready so you ain't got to get ready. Do what your job is when your name is called and always just being available. Just be available.
Now, understand that Jair, he was a staple, right? Now that he's unavailable,
Right.
what's that mentality like, knowing that there's a spot up for grabs, technically? I understand there's two guys out there, but what is that mentality? Does that change for you? And understanding that the performance, knowing as a defensive back, that the performance does not drop. If anything, it has to ramp up because now people are vulnerable, you know what I'm saying, as well as the D-line. How does that change, and do you guys interact more now?
Yeah. Our coaches tell us all the time that no matter who's on the field, the standard doesn't change. So we all carry that with us. We all work hard, and we just have to be there for one another. However it may come, we just have to support each other in whatever situation may come about, good or bad. So it's just about being a team and having each other's back when we're at a time where we're trying to build and keep things going that we set out in front of us before injuries happen. So it's just about being proactive instead of reactive.
Yeah. And look, you're a Louisiana guy. You grew up in Shreveport, right? Big picture, Central Arkansas, I had to look this one up.
Right.
Only 11 players in the history of that college have been drafted in the NFL. By the way, Robert Rochelle, the highest draft pick ever out of Central Arkansas. That is pretty cool, dude, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
I mean, so what was it like for you? The draft is coming up here in Green Bay in Titletown. What was that process like for you? Because when you play at Central Arkansas and you're not in the SEC or the Big Ten or whatever, it's a waiting game, right? I mean, just take us back 4 years ago, what that was like.
Oh man, it was different for sure. I didn't expect some of the things I went through, like being in the situation or training with the guys I trained with, or being in the rooms that I was in, being drafted where I was drafted. It was just a blessing overall, everything I went through, but it was great. I encountered a lot of people and made a lot of great relationships, and which got me here where I'm at today. Had a lot of people support me along that way. I trained out in Dallas at Exos, and it was great with a lot of first-round guys that poured into me, taught me a lot of things about the game, and just coming from SEC, telling me their stories, how they went to school and how stuff went. So all that was great.
All right, when we come back, we'll have plenty more with Packers defensive back Robert Rochelle. But first, it's time for our Easy Tab Fan Cam. Don't go anywhere, everybody. Welcome back to Locker Room right here at Thornberry Creek. Our special guest tonight is Packers defensive back Robert Rochelle. We talked quite a bit about everything not related to the Eagles. How do you guys look at this game? Look, they're one of the best teams in the league. They beat you in week 1. Little revenge factor coming up, Robert?
We just all hands on deck, ready to attack.
Yeah, no, I
Can't say it better than that.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a chance for redemption. You know what I'm saying? I think when it counts, right?
Right.
You got to make this one count. Now, regardless if they're able to beat you 8 out of 10 times, you got to beat them these 2 times on this. And that's all that matters. That's
Right.
it.
Right.
In between those white lines, doesn't matter what we say as commentators on Fox, whatever TV channel, you guys got to play the game within the white lines.
Yep.
Are you preparing as if Jalen Hurts is definitely going to go? I mean, look, I know he got dinged up a couple weeks ago with the concussion, had to leave against Washington. You can pretty much bet he's going to be out there.
Yeah,
definitely.
for sure.
That's definitely who we're preparing to see on Sunday, for sure.
All right, time now to go in the zone, presented by Oneida Nation and Thornberry Creek with Cameron is there.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, if you asked this Packers team, how would you want to end the season? I think they'd say very reminiscent of last year. You win 2 in a row against the Vikings and the Bears. You feel confident going into the postseason. Well, this year, far from it. 2 consecutive defeats at the hands of Minnesota and Chicago, now entering the playoffs, limping through, not just with injuries, but also their overall play, taking on a Philadelphia team that is stout in their own right. Green Bay knows that they have their work cut out for them, but they also know they're eager for the challenge.
Obviously, we wanted to be on the other end, but it's time to lock in on the postseason. So thank God that's not our last game, and we gotta prepare like it.
The sense of urgency and everything is up. So we just got to know that coming in this whole week, coming in to prepare. Everybody got to be willing to give 110% of themselves to what we want to accomplish.
Obviously, there's a lot of things we have to clean up and be better at, but it's the same message, Obviously, we're not going in with momentum, but who cares? We got to find a way to get better and go attack this week. And obviously, we're going to be playing some good teams here in the playoffs, and we got to find a way to go win.
Matt LaFleur was asked in yesterday's presser, is momentum really a thing, or is that just something for the media to bloviate on about? He said more the latter than the former, but it is true that Green Bay wants to be playing its best football at the right time. Seems far from it right now. The Packers hoping that they can reverse course from the first game of the season and hand Philly a loss, just as the Eagles did to them in that game in Brazil. Outside of Lambeau Field, I'm Cameron Ezair.
All righty, thank you, Cam. One quick question. You're a defensive back. Most people think Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, top 2 or 3 in the league. Where does A.J. Brown rank?
Well, he's definitely up there, top 5. He's definitely a great big body physical receiver that you have to be wary of and where he's located on the field. So he's definitely a problem to be reckoned with. We definitely have to prepare and
get ready for him.
Yeah.
Stop Saquon first and then don't get beat by him deep, right?
Definitely.
All right, you ready for our 1-minute drill?
Ready.
We're all going to get to know you a little bit better, Robert. Best thing you've done with your money so far in your career?
Bought my mother a house.
Bought his mom a house.
Yeah.
We've heard that several times, and that is a great
Answer. Fantastic answer.
Got to do that. Take care of mom.
For sure.
And I can see, hey, open that up real quick. What you got there?
Grandma.
Oh, yes, my grandmother and my uncle.
Nice. All right, car you drive.
Jeep.
Go-to jam in your rig right now.
Huncho Chosen.
Biggest influence in your life?
My mother.
I figured that was coming up. Favorite NFL player growing up?
It's a tough one. Yeah. But if I had to pick,
Give us 2.
He's too young to remember Deion, right?
They still show highlights on Instagram. I don't know.
I was a big Reggie Bush fan, actually. I was an offensive guy. I like to run the ball.
Okay.
He definitely,
Electric.
If you could be a pro athlete in a different sport, what would it be?
Golf.
Golf. Love that. Well, hey, we're at Thornberry Creek, by the way, everybody. Shameless promotion, but we've got some golf for you coming up later on. Las Vegas or the beach?
Beach.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Golf or fishing?
Fishing.
Steak, fish, or chicken?
Chicken.
Chicken. All right, and finally for Robert, does anybody call you Bob?
Yes.
They do.
They call me
That's
Bob,
still a thing.
Bobby, Rob, Bert. I get called it all of them.
All right, we'll be back with more with Bobby Rochelle coming up after the break on the Locker Room. We'll have our keys to the game and plenty more. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Locker Room right here at Thornberry Creek. Oneida, Robert Rochelle, Packers defensive back, is our special guest. The Super Bowl champion Jared Bush. Time now for our keys to the ball game, brought to you by the dispensary. First and foremost, you have to stop Saquon Barkley. And if you run the rock with your own stud running back, Josh Jacobs, things will be easier. And special teams. Be special. Somebody's got to make a play, and you can't get fooled anymore on like what the Bears did, right? We've talked about that already.
I think they're on that one. I think the special teams coach he's probably seen that at least 18 times. I think his wife probably, Matt LaFleur gave him that speech, probably walked him in his office. I think he's set.
Robert, how do you feel about this game? I mean, this is the elite of the elite. Yeah. And we could sit here and break it all down, but from a player's perspective, have you played in Philadelphia before?
Never played in Philly before.
It's a pretty nasty place, I can tell you that.
I've heard.
No disrespect to Philadelphia, but I got hit with a battery 20 years ago, shooting a game on the field. And there's another camera guy in Green Bay who got the same thing. It's loud and crazy, and it's going to be a hostile environment, right?
Yeah. So we're definitely looking forward to it. Eager to get to work this week and just put best foot forward and prepare for the best.
Yeah.
He is Packers defensive back Robert Rochelle. For Jared Bush, I'm Burt Griffin. Thank you for tuning in, folks. We will see you next week on Locker Room.
Thank you for watching Locker Room.